This hideous abomination of a laptop is an HP Pavilion, and it hails from the malaise era of computing in the mid-2000s. It's hideous, slow, heavy, and nobody wants these things. But what if we could turn unloved computers like this into epic Windows 98 gaming machines? So stay tuned. And if you enjoy cheap plastics and operating system shenanigans, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel. The computer we're torturing today is an HP Pavilion DV6000, and it hails from somewhere around 2008. Why don't we have a quick tour around this thing? Ugh. Oh god, it's horrible. Ugh. Gee. That's enough of that. But this video isn't about this laptop, it's about what we're doing to it. In fact, I have a bunch of other garbage laptops just like this laying around in case this one doesn't work for our shenanigans today. The only upgrade we're going to do is pull out this hard drive and swap in a cheap SSD because this thing is filled with someone's 20-year-old personal data. Wipe Your Data shirt now available at shop.actionretro.com. So we're going to be using a project called Windows 98 Quickinstall, which actually just passed their version 1.0 release. Now, something that you might not know about Windows 98 is you can actually run it on really modern hardware, and there have been community patches to make it run reliably and stably on even like a Core i9. This project allows you to easily install Windows 98 and all of the patches automatically in just a few minutes, and it even lets you do some crazy things like boot the installer off of a USB stick using a small Bootstrap Linux, and it even allows you to do stuff like install Windows 98 to NVMe. Wild. Now this project is intended to help you make your own Windows 98 installer with all of your own tools and stuff, but they also provide downloads, which you can just burn to a disk or write to a USB stick, which is what we're going to do today. So we're going to download version 1.1a for USB. Okay. Must be popular. And then since I'm on Mac, I like to use Balena Etcher to write things to USB sticks. Flash from file. There it is. Here's our USB stick. All right, let's go try to boot this on the laptop. Right after this quick word about today's sponsor, Azuna. You know, as a professional amateur computer ruiner, I've had my fair share of magic smoke released here in the basement layer. Boy howdy, there's no masking that smell. Azuna works to neutralize odors, not mask them, using an eco-friendly plant-powered tea tree oil. And not only is this very effective to tame the stench-filled abyss of my home, but it's convenient and eco-friendly. These beautiful reusable glass Azuna pods blend right into their surroundings. Just look at this one hiding on my workbench and my 3D printer Azuna pod. Azuna even tames our cat litter. Stinky little fuzzballs. And every 60 to 90 days, it's simple to refill the gel. This sustainable pod system really reduces plastic waste compared to those disposable air fresheners you buy at the supermarket. Natural, effective, and designed for low-tox, naturally minded households. Get 30% off your Azuna order using my code ActionRetro30. Just check out the link down below in my description. And put that stench on the bench. I just made that slogan up. Thanks Azuna for sponsoring today's video. My god, look at this huge honking battery. I bet this thing still only lasted like 3 hours. Alright. Ah, this is a really weird kind of design. You have to use this goofy adapter for the SATA connector that turns it into this like right angle that slots in here. I've never seen that before. Alright, I think this is 120 gigabytes. Pretty good for Windows 98. I really don't like this hard drive connection strategy. Alright, we'll just pull up 19 volts on the adjustable universal power supply. God, I do not miss these super glossy displays. Alright, F9, F9, F9. Alright, it sees the hard drive. I wonder if anything's on it. Well, it doesn't seem to want to boot anything. Plug this into the side here. Ooh, neat. LightScribe. Alright, let's boot this off a USB. F9, 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 F9. It doesn't see it. Let's try this USB port. F9, 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 F9. Whoops. I mean, you can boot from USB, right? Oh yeah, it boots off a USB. We'll just move that up. F9, F9, F9. Oh, it doesn't see it. All right, one more USB port to try. F9. Oh, man. Come on, I know you can do it. All right, apparently it was a bum USB stick. New stick, USB drive shows up. Windows 9X Quickinstall. Called Windows 9X because this actually does Windows 98 and Windows ME. So we have three options here. The first one is Windows 98 patch with the 98 Lite micro distribution, and that is a stripped down version of Windows 98 with a lot of the extraneous fluff removed. We can also do a stock installation with all the web active desktop stuff preserved, or we can do Windows ME, but we are going to do Windows 98 SE. And then we have a lot of information in here for things that could go wrong, such as freezing, and we could turn off DMA because there's a no DMA boot option. So first we need to format, yeah, there it is, SDB. We need an MBR partition, it's currently GPT. Okay, and now we will format this, call that bootable. The type, Windows 95 FAT32, LBA. Let's write that and quit. All right, now we can install Caesar formatted disk, and here is some really interesting stuff. The default distribution of Windows 98 Quickinstall includes a whole bunch of stuff. So by default, we've got an integrated driver library with a lot of drivers for more modern hardware that should work in plug and play. We're also going to do extended driver library, which again should add more drivers to our plug and play discovery. There's an extras folder, of course we want that. And then if we have boot options, we can apply a Craig fix patch for modern CPUs, but I don't think this Centrino system needs that. 64-bit LBA, we do not have a 2 terabyte disk, or UEFI support, which is absolutely wild. But we're just gonna hit enter to install with these options. Boy howdy is that fast. I mean, one of my favorite YouTube channels, Omores, is how I found out about this. He does a manual Windows 98 install on modern machines in like 10 minutes. But look at that. That was like 1 minute. All right, let's reboot. All right, let's see if this just goes directly into Windows 98. Oh my God. It sure does. Or at least it started. Got a blinking cursor in the top left. I'll just let this sit for a bit.
A few moments later.
Oh, look, it's doing it. It's setting up hardware. It's finding plug-and-play devices and installing drivers. Oh, I'm so excited. I mean, the main goal here would be to get video working, audio working, and the optical drive working, and then we can install Windows 98 games on here. Well, unfortunately, it's been sitting at this blinking cursor for like 10 minutes now, occasionally beeping. I don't think that's what it's supposed to do. So I'm just gonna shut it down and turn it back on. All right, Microsoft Scan Disk. Seeing Windows 98 booting on this thing is just so freaking ridiculous. Look at that. All right, it seems to be making progress. I guess we'll just let this go, and eventually, hopefully, it does something. Okay, this does not seem to want to boot, so I'm going to try to boot this in safe mode and see if we get to a desktop. We do! Look at that! All right, well, Windows 98 has officially booted on this thing, but we need it to auto-detect plug-and-play devices. Let's try to boot this up now, since we've been in the desktop once. Maybe it'll work. All right, there appears to be something very wrong here, because when I choose normal boot, it'll start to boot, and then the computer shuts off. Oh yeah, sure, just shut off by herself, that's fine. Okay, all is not lost because we do have some troubleshooting steps we can do to get around finicky hardware. The first thing we're going to do is this, the skip legacy non-PNP hardware detection phase, but then we can also try installing the non-DMA version, and there's some other troubleshooting steps we can do. Let's try that first one. All right, let's try this install again. Do 98 light micro. All right, and install SSD, and this time choose no here, and yes still on these. Install. It's wild how fast that is. All right, reboot. Take out our USB stick. Look at that. It's installing plug-and-play drivers from the gigantic driver library that comes with Windows 98 Quickinstall. Frickin' amazing. All right, let's see what kind of non-plug-and-play hardware this thing actually finds. All right, I guess it has to move on to plug-and-play hardware, and it's just restarting. Hopefully it comes back. Well, unfortunately, it keeps restarting itself again and then asking me to go into safe mode. We'll try a normal boot one more time. And if this doesn't work, then I guess we will boot into safe mode, and maybe we can tinker with some drivers or something. All right, back in safe mode. Let's take a look at our drivers. Display adapter, standard VGA. I think we can get a different driver for this. If we go to C drive drivers.ex, which is the extra drivers, maybe it can find a different driver. All right, let's try that. Nope, restarting itself. Okay, well, the next stage of troubleshooting would involve playing around with some advanced BIOS settings like USB legacy mode and all that stuff. This computer, unfortunately, has a very limited BIOS, and none of those options are available. Which is why I've got this! A Toshiba satellite from about the same era that I think is even worse. Alright, let's chuck this SSD in here. Whoa. Oh, good. High quality plastics. Perfect. Okay, good. It sees the SSD and it also sees our USB stick. So let's boot from that. That's not what I wanted. Stop that. All right, let's try this again. F12, F12, F12. All right. Oh, the down arrow key doesn't work. Perfect. USB. All right, quick install. We will once again do 98 micro. We will install to the ADATA SSD. Change these two to yes. We'll keep this legacy non-PNP hardware as yes, and install. All right, apparently install complete. Oh my God, why are you beeping? Stop that. Oh yeah, this time we got right to plug and play hardware. Look at that. Ooh, this seems much happier with Windows 98. Oh my God, it's booted into the desktop. Oh, mouse works on the trackpad's actually fairly responsive. That's a little shocking. Okay. Brand new Windows 98 SE install on our Core i3 Toshiba. That is pretty silly. It says it has a Pentium 2. I guess Windows 98 does not know what a Core i3 is. 3 gigs of RAM, pretty good for Windows 98. All right, what do we have that we can do drivers for? Let's see, display adapter, it's just VGA. Can we change the resolution with this driver? We cannot. We only have 16 colors. Okay. But if we go to driver, update driver, and now we will search in driver.ex. Yep, there we go. VBE mini port driver, which should give us better resolutions. Oh my God, why are you beeping? Stop that. It's like every third time I boot this thing, it just goes off on a beeping tantrum. All right, booted with the new video driver. I can already tell it's in a different color depth. Look how deep that cyan is. Amazing. All right, let's see here. Settings. Oh yeah, look at that. Ooh, look at true color. Oh yeah, this frickin' works. All right, we've got a nice deep screen resolution, although we can't get into a widescreen mode, unfortunately. Let's see, font size, large fonts. All right. Oh boy, that's a good sign. Scan disk, don't need that. It's booting again. You can do it. Okay, we're in. All right, so the only thing I've updated now is the video driver. let's take stock of what else works on here, and then we'll take a look at Device Manager and see if there's any drivers we can install. First things first, of course, we've got the old Nuke Dukem CD. Does the CD-ROM drive work? Well, in this case, the DVD multi-recorder. It does! Look at that! There's our Duke Nukem 3D disc. Boy, that installer application isn't happy about this. Oh yeah, perfect. Alt F4, Alt F4, that doesn't work. Escape, nope. Alt Tab, nope. Welp. Guess we'll let Scan Disk do its thing. Oh my god, stop beeping! I wonder if this broken arrow key is like constantly pressing down, which is causing it to do all that ridiculous beeping. Problem solved. All right, don't you beep at me now. Oh my god, stop it. What a quality piece of tech. That doesn't work still. Only up. Wonder if this computer took a little liquid damage. All right, I'm just gonna change the resolution back down to 640 by 480, 16 colors. All right, let's see if this installer is happier at this resolution. It is! Oh, look at all these games we've got. Let's see, Duke Nukem 3D. Don't mind if I do. Oh yeah, definitely want to install Rise of the Triad. That game is awesome. Let's get Wacky Wheels too. All right, can we run these games? Let's see. Duke 3D. Setup. Not enough memory. Oh no. Oh, again with the not enough memory. All right, let's poke around BIOS and see if we can get this thing to chill out a little bit. Got boot speed normal. Beep sound. Oh my god. Beep sound off. USB legacy emulation. Turn that off. Execute disable bit capability. I don't even know what that means. Okay, web camera. Nope. SATA controller mode. Compatibility or AHCI? We'll say compatibility, which should be IDE mode. And I think that's a good starting point. If you beep at me again, I'm chucking you in a garbage. All right, well, it has found additional hardware. So I guess let's see if we have drivers. All right. I think this is working. Look at that. All right, booting up again. No beep apocalypse yet. All right, now I'm getting Windows protection error. Probably fine. Oh, good. And just like that, it has decided to boot back into Windows. So I guess it's fine. Let's see, will you eject the disk? You do. Excellent. Can I play any of these games? Let's see, sound setup. Nope, not enough memory. Let's give this a lot of memory. What? Now, I tried to install that new WDM driver to get the internal audio working, but it did not work, unfortunately. However, I have a solution. USB audio works great, so I'll just clip you onto here. Oh, perfect. And now, Windows 98 Gaming. So check this thing out. We have ourselves a bona fide Windows 98 SE battle station, and almost everything is working. Video card has a driver, USB just works, and I can transfer files and games via USB. Networking works, it figured out the network card. The only real issue I had is sound, and we worked around that, and probably you could get internal audio working, it's just a bit of a user error. It's probably a bit of a skill issue on my part. But something about this setup still isn't quite right for Windows 98. This laptop has a VGA port on it, so of course we are going for full authenticity here. That is frickin' epic, but I think we can do a little bit better still. CompUSA branded Windows 98 keyboard, don't mind if I do. Oh wait, this is a Dell. Close enough. Just need one of these little PS2 to USB adapters, like so. All right, I've got period accurate keyboard, hamster mouse, Windows 98 on the Sony Trinitron Multiscan, but something still feels slightly off. I wonder if we could do something like that. Alright, leave a comment down below if you think you know where this is going. Now this is what retro computing is all about. Oh yeah. Get in there. Oh yeah. It's perfect. Now that is what I'm talking about. Look at this battle station. You can barely tell it's running on a modern laptop. But it is inside this beautiful case, of course with the Asheville Computer Club sticker on the front. Thanks Quickinstall for that. Yeah, we have ourselves a Windows 98 machine. We are living the 98 lifestyle. And in all seriousness, I know it's kind of funny that I just shoved this into the case like that, but what's stopping us from taking the motherboard out of this laptop and transplanting it into a case like this and wiring the power switch up to power? I mean, this thing does run Windows remarkably well. And I think if this was all buttoned up, you'd be hard pressed to tell that you're not running on vintage hardware. Alright, restarted the computer in MS-DOS mode. I gotta say, this really feels like using an old computer. Oh yeah, how about some Rise of the Triad? Look at this. I mean, this feels like I'm playing on a 486, but we're playing on a terrible Toshiba laptop. This is awesome. Unfortunately, sound doesn't want to work. I think it might be something to do with user error on my part. Someone smarter than me probably could get sound working in DOS mode in Windows 98. How freaking cool. Okay, so I know this was perhaps a bit of a silly demonstration of Windows 98 Quickinstall, what with installing it on an i3 laptop and then shoving it inside of a desktop tower. But I think this goes to show just how good Windows 98 Quickinstall really is. I mean, we got pretty much all the drivers we needed on this random Toshiba laptop. And I know I couldn't get sound working in DOS, but I think that's a bit of a user error. If you have any ideas on how to fix that, let me know in the comments down below. But I think Windows 98 Quickinstall really shines on stuff like this. A Core i3 business class piece of junk from the mid-2000s. This was $15 at the thrift shop. This has PCI slots in it. If you put Windows 98 Quickinstall on this thing and found the right video card, you'd have yourself a killer Windows 98 gaming rig for like no money. But that'll do it for today's video. As always, links are down in the description below, and if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching. And I just want to give a very special thank you to all of my Patreon supporters and channel members. Thank you so much, each and every one of you, for supporting me and supporting this channel and all the weird stuff I do. I am so very grateful, and I just could not do this without you.